Hello world! Well, this is the Mercury 50, Classic 50. We stopped the carb leak, stopped them from any kind of fuel dumping out of the bottom carburetor. Replaced some fuel line. That's all nice. I thought it was leaking a little bit from the fuel connector, and I'd get a little bit of air bubbles in the lines. Since then, I've kind of taken it off and refashioned it so that it'd be a real good connection. Didn't see any bubbles. Fuel pumps seemed to be pumping just fine. Had the timing light on it, got the idle timing set, got the advanced timing set. It's basically link and sync. That's what they call a link and sync. Had the timing light on the number 1 cylinder, and we had, pretty steady light, right? And but then I put it on the number 2, I believe, or 3, I can't remember. And then it was so I think we got us a bad trigger. But I got water in my tank and it just about overflowed it. Man, we'll get the hood off of it and see. Go ahead and get it set up so you guys can see this. I'll run it temporarily and then we'll go back and put a new trigger on it. And I can show you what that trigger is doing. Because this is a simple test. You can put your timing light on one, like number 1 plug wire, and you can see the light flashing. At a certain RPMs, you can see it's pretty steady. You put it on another one, and if it's not firing like that, like it should, chances are you have a bad trigger. So chances are that when you see that light and you see the difference in the light, like number 2, chances are this guy is not firing right and it's a trigger. The trigger is not triggering correctly. Got my light, on number 1. I've got to start this thing yet, and it's gonna be kind of hard to start, I think. But it's a good test because, if you're like, well, it's got good compression, sure does run funny. Now this guy's got a button that's missing in the front. So I do have it in warm-up mode, and then I've got to connect my gas. So I guess this doesn't make for good TV, does it? So you can see it's still got fuel under pressure, which is good. And I don't even have the fuel connector connected, but I made a short run of it. So this is kind of uphill, or at least at the very least, it's kind of level. Because I mean, those bulbs will kind of throw you. If they're like this, see, that's still under pressure. We got our vent open in the gas can, so we got it in warm-up mode, but that's number 1. See how it's flickering? That one's pretty solid. That one's kind of flickering as well. Number 2 is definitely being really weird. Okay, so I have another trigger. It's a brand new trigger, and I'm gonna throw it on here and see if that fixes our problem with it triggering funny. It's definitely triggering weird, and so that's not anything to do with fuel. It's not fuel related. It's definitely timing related, and it's really has to do electronically with the spark delivery. So it's going to come out of the power pack to the plugs, or to the coils in this case, to the plugs. So I got a brand new trigger, and we're going to throw that on here and see if it doesn't fix the problem. Gonna remove the flywheel, remove the stator, and then the triggers underneath. We'll have to disconnect this linkage right here, and because this will come with the old trigger, and it's pretty oily. It's pretty old. Definitely has some age. I saw where it had a tag and said 2014. That's not too bad, but still, it's kind of a mess. On this one, we won't have to remove our timing pointer. If you have one, sometimes they have the plastic timing pointers, and you have to remove that first in order to remove the flywheel. So we won't have to do that. That's good, because then we wouldn't have to do like a dial indicator and find top dead center. You see that on a lot of timing videos. So what they do is they have to find top dead center first. There's either a Mercury tool you can buy. It looks like a spark plug, or you can do it with a dial indicator. I do it with a dial pin a lot because I can get it pretty much dead on. Put my timing pointer, and you can hear it by ear how it's firing. So we won't have to do any of that. All we'll have to do is take that off, and then on the other side by the switch box, we'll have to take off 4 wires, and yeah, it's a job. It's not too bad. Take me a few hours to do, but first thing to do is to get the flywheel off. And you see me do that a bunch of times, so I won't film that. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and hit that like button and comment and whatever. Everybody does it. So we'll talk to you soon.